Hello! Today's video is about what I learned this year. So there are 10 things that I learned. So the first thing is you can still love Jesus and feel tired, sad, and exhausted. It doesn't mean that you are all powerful. It just means that you're human, and that's okay because he's right there with you in your feelings, and he's more powerful than all of that. So I actually had mm, um, kind of a soul crushing reality a few months ago. So I bake a lot, and my friends slash classmates always ask, when are you going to start selling your cookies or baked goods or something? And I told my mom about it, and then she said, no, you should wait until after college because right now you're too busy with church and university. And she wants me to get my diploma first and not give up halfway. And yeah, I actually cried a lot that night, and it was the first day of midterms week, so it was a Monday, and then I kept crying even though after oh shoot, ow, my eye, even after I slept, and then um my boyfriend was very worried about me, and then he said, how about you not go to school? And then I said, but it's midterm, so I can't just not go. And so yeah, now my friends slash classmates still ask when am I going to sell my cookies, and they would hear me talk about new recipes and new ideas. And yeah, sometimes it doesn't mean that Jesus won't help you, just that it's not the time yet, and it's okay to be sad and mad and annoyed about needing to put a pause on something that you really wanted to do. And second is that you'll get through the things that you thought was impossible. So I actually didn't really like going to uni for a good amount of time because there's this labor program in my school, and I get very annoyed because I think it's a waste of time. And I still did it, even though I just didn't really want to because I still need my diploma, and you need to finish this program to get your diploma and then PE program. And so through this very short period of college life, I think Jesus was telling me to and build I think Jesus was building up my self-discipline, and also the fact that I actually need to get up around 2 hours before my class every day if I had class that day. And because from my house to my university it takes around 1 hour, and I take public transport because I haven't got a driver's license yet because my birthday is on August 29th, and so at that time I'm already about to start school, and due to personal complications we don't really have a car in the house. So at that time it was like, I don't think I need to get a driver's license right now, even though I know it'll be very convenient, but still it isn't as necessary at that moment. And yeah, I think this was Jesus's way of telling me to get my stuff together, because sometimes I still skip class just because I don't want to get up at 6 a.m. for gym. So my gym class is at 8 and so that'll mean that I need to get up very early, and some days I just can't. Sorry, Mom. Hehe. And 3, people love you no matter how broken you are. So I actually love my dad a lot, even though he did some very bad things in my life and people that were affected by him. And the one thing that I learned this year is that people love you no matter how broken you are, because everyone in church has been broken before, and we're all still healing through something in our lives. And yeah, I think my church is a place where I can really be myself and be broken, and I would get a good amount of hugs and prayers when I am not okay with my feelings and with grief about the past. So, yep. And the 4th thing is a connection to the 3rd thing. So a hug is one of the best things in the world, because I really like hugs and they help me feel safe. So yeah, even though I don't really ask for hugs a lot, but when I do get hugs, it feels like it feels warm, and I feel comforted, and I feel safe. So yeah. And the 5th thing is let yourself rest. So I used to, or I kind of still do, have a tendency to be a bit perfectionistic with my recipes and with school, even though I told my friend that I'm kind of slacking off Western literature, but I know I'll still try to improve, because I don't think I did enough, even though when I was studying I was like annoyed, and I'll still like do a second version of my answers for the discussion questions and stuff. But yeah, I really needed to let myself rest for a few days, and sometimes resting might be like getting a cold or just not baking that day. And the reason why that I'm looking down so much is because Wubu is demanding pats, so that's why I'm looking down so much. And 6, remember that you're still a work in progress, and this isn't the last version of you. So in my last video I told you guys that I still have a social media addiction, and yeah, I'm still struggling with that, because some days I sleep too early, and then I wake up in the middle of the night, and then my sleep schedule isn't, sometimes it just isn't the best, and then I scroll a lot when that happens, and then I'll think, should I study? But also it's like 3 a.m. and I still can't sleep, and I feel like it's weird to study at 3 a.m. even though I did do that once in high school, but also I don't think it's good for my brain if I don't sleep after I study, because that means that what I study will turn into long-term memory. So I actually struggle with that, and then at the end of the day I would be like, why didn't I study more? Maybe when I take the exam, and I don't want to feel like I should have studied more so I could get a better grade during my examination. So yeah, I'm still trying to work through that, even though I did get good grades, kind of. Yeah. And the 7th thing is try to show up even when you're tired. So over the past few months I've grown very weary and exhausted with the things that I signed up in my church. So I signed up a 2 Wings program. So the program is 14 weeks every semester, and you learn more about what Christianity is, who Jesus is, and our faith. So that's why I was able to start Renewal Fridays a few months ago, because I had training for over 2 years, and I'm going to graduate next week, like maybe the week after next week, I don't know. So it's basically it's in December, but also after these 2 years of the program, I've grown very tired and weary and exhausted, and I've been failing to show up at church on time, even though I did improve last week. I showed up church on time, and I even had breakfast at church, which is like wow, because I usually don't have breakfast. And yeah, I still try to show up, even like I might show up at noon, and it feels very awkward. And I know I wasn't like this when I first got to my church. And yeah, this is your reminder that it's okay that you're tired of showing up, but also just try to get there no matter what. And no matter what time you get there, it's just important to show up even though you're exhausted, because this path isn't easy. You need to change a lot. You need to acknowledge what you're lacking behind, and you need to constantly renew your mindset from the old habits and the old things that your mind used to tell you. And yeah, you're not alone. So the eighth thing is, change is hard, but it's worth it. So over the last 2 years, I changed a lot. I think, well, to me, I don't really see it, but when I do think about it, I did change a lot. So I'm a lot more healthy in a mental aspect, and I'm slowly, and my sleep schedule got better. Oops, sorry, boy. My sleep schedule got better. I stopped my antidepressants. I'm still working on my relationship with food, because it's hard for me to eat consistently 3 meals a day when I really dislike having breakfast. So I don't know why. It's just that in the morning I just don't want to eat anything. Like, I don't want to eat solids. And I am 18, so it's it's weird. I still think that it's weird that I don't like eating solids or eating anything very heavy in the morning, even though I do need energy in the morning. And yeah, I'm still working through it. But yeah, I would say change is very, very, very hard, but it's very worth it in the long run. So when I think about needing to needing to rotate the 2 weeks program for 5 times. I just finished my first time. So one program is 2 years. So that'll mean 10 years. But also when I think about these 10 years in the maybe, like, let's say I'll live until 80. And in these 10 years, I'll be building up my foundation for my life in the next, okay, so I'm 18 now. So when I finish, I'll be around 30. And so for the next 50 years, I'll have a good foundation. And then it'll be very worth it, because it's only 10 years in 80 years. And I'm not even counting that the fact that I will be going to heaven and live for eternity. So when I think about it, it's that these 10 years are very short. It's super short, and it'll pay off. in the end, even though I'll be like, ah, in the process, but I'll grow a lot in these 10 years. So yeah, change is hard, but it is very, very, very worth it. And the ninth thing is that grief is a testimony to yourself and others because you still love them the best that you could. So when I talk about grief, I actually don't just talk about the people who aren't in this world anymore. I don't just talk about people who died. I talk about the people who I don't talk to anymore. I'm not saying, I'm not talking about exes. No. I'm talking about my family members that I don't really talk to, or my friends, or just my old colleagues. And sometimes I still think about them, but I just don't really reach out because one, I am very scared and terrified. Two, I don't know if I'm mentally ready to have hard conversations that I need to have with these certain people. And it's okay to be sad that your friendship, relationship, whatever, is not like, it's not the same, because that's a testimony that you really loved and cared for that person. So yeah. And the last thing that I learned this year is that knowing that death is inevitable makes life more meaningful. So in my Chinese class, my teacher, well, not teacher, my professor was teaching us Zhuangzi. So it's an author and a guy in, I don't know how to explain it, sorry, but basically it's something philosophical. And if you're majoring in philosophy, you might heard of him. I think you will. You'll hear about Zhuangzi and Kongzi and Laozi. So my teacher talked about that time is very short, and that because death is inevitable, so it makes our life more meaningful, because you know that you're gonna live once and you are living every day, but you are only going to die once or twice if you're talking about Christianity. But your body will die once and your soul will be renewed once. So your soul will be renewed when you're baptized, and your body will die when you're old, or yeah, your body will decease when you're old. And it makes life a lot more meaningful because you'll want to create, and you'll want to make an impact in this world. And I know that this generation, even me myself, sometimes I don't feel very hopeful when I see what's going on in the world, and I am quite worried about, am I going to be replaced by AI, because my degree is English and I don't know what to do with my degree yet, even though I know this is something that I'm partially good at, and it doesn't really connect to what I really want to do, which is bake and make pastries and develop recipes. But I would say that is a part of this life, is that it'll be hard, but it'll be worth it, and we will die in the end. And no matter what the older generations talk about us, saying that we're lazy and we don't have any work ethic, that's fine, because they also was once young and people talked down about them, and it's fine. Just live your truth. And yeah, so that's it for today's video. I know this is quite long because I keep blabbering, but yeah, that's what I learned this year, 2025. And I am a bit nervous about 2026 because I don't know what's gonna happen. Also, might, I don't know what to do for next year, but we'll see. Okay, see you next week. Bye bye.